Alright, so we're back at the Henry Loop. Finally, roll call 219 here, and I haven't made a Second Amendment video in a while or anything that kind of pertains to it because I've been doing things that I love. The world's in a little bit of a turmoil cycle right now, but I like to go out and do the things that I love. I'm not going to sit here and dwell on things that I have no control over. I'm going to go do what I love to do, and that's what I've been doing. But I've been watching here lately on YouTube and other pieces of social media, and I see a lot of things, and I think to myself, man, back in the day, years ago, we'd get fired up in this. We'd have to get on rants and raves, fire up that old computer and that microphone, and we'd have to freak out and complain. And I say to myself, those days are over. Those days are over, especially when it comes to some of the topics other YouTubers are doing. And the one topic I want to talk about is ammunition. Everybody's freaking out about ammunition. I'll show you a picture here. Okay? Yes. At times there's runs on ammunition, whether it be during, I don't know if we can say the words, but I'll keep them to my words, the Coco uh-oh. Remember those days? Man, boy, it's pretty tough to find what you were looking for those days. And I think sometimes that is a manufacturer of ourselves as consumers. We get riled up by talking heads on YouTube or any other piece of social media, mainstream or whatever it is that you watch. And then you got to go out there and you have to get as much ammunition as you want. And then it puts you in a hole. So I'm going to tell you this story before the video ends, okay? So I was going to the Wanamaker's gun show, okay? Here's a plug. It's coming up here. The world's largest gun show. I knew I was going to go down there because I had bought a 6.5 Creedmoor, and I knew I could find 6.5 at the world's largest gun show. So I go to this one here locally before I left, a couple days before I left, and I walked in looking for 6.5 Creedmoor. Not a whole lot of people had that, and some people had a one box, or they had like a half a box. Like some people would buy a table, especially the price gougers. Now the price gougers were the people during the Coco uh-oh that would go to their locals and they would buy all this ammunition, buy a table at the local gun show, and then sell it for a huge premium price to make a massive profit off of. This was the good trend back in those days, youngsters. And I came across this table, and he had this cool little pyramid stack of 6.5 Creedmoor, tons of boxes, plus he had a couple sitting on the floor. And I asked him, I said, hey man, I just bought a 6.5 Creedmoor rifle. I need a couple of boxes, how much for a box of ammunition? He said $95. I gave him the squinty eye. I said, how much? And he said, $95. I said, you are absolutely insane. I said, where do you get this price at? Oh, there's an ammo shortage, okay? There's an ammo shortage, and this is the price it commands right now. And I looked at him and kind of gave him the old roll call smile. And I said, no, it's not. I said, I'm going to the world's largest gun show in a couple of days. So I'm going to break it down to you here. I'm going to go down there. I'm going to find a box of ammo that's not $95. Maybe we can come to some kind of agreement here where you do make a couple of dollars on the back side, but you're not going to make this massive profit off me because at this time, 6.5 Creedmoor was about $17.99 a box, $19.99 a box, depending on the brand. $95 for a box of ammunition is outrageous, And I need it at this price. I need it at this price. And I'm thinking to myself, you're the local guy that went to every place, bought up all this ammunition that you have on your little table. You bought a table here, and now you're gonna scam everybody off these prices, and pretty much prey off them because of the ammo crunch, the ammo shortage. And I said, well, I'll make you a deal. I said, I'll go and walk through the show and do what I have to do, and I'll come back and see how many boxes of this 6.5 Creedmoor you sold at $95. And then, we'll talk about a price then. So I went through the show, met some cool people, talked to them. I even paid for a guy's way in at that show too, and gave him my card and told him, hey, look me up on YouTube. He subscribed, and he kept in touch, and he keeps in touch once in a while, making connections. That's what it's about. So I went through this show, and at the end of it, when it was winding down, I went to this guy's booth again, and guess what? He had not sold a box of that 6.5 Creedmoor at $95. So I walked up to him and said, hey, it's me again. And I said, so what is going to be your bottom line? He told me his bottom line, and I said, that's not good enough. And he's like, well, that's what I need, man. I need to make my money back. I said, no, you made a mistake by buying everything and overcharging for it. I said, again, how about I offer you this much? And he's like, no, can you do a little bit better? Now he's the one, I'm haggling with this. Now this guy's the one that knows that he made a mistake. Okay. So we agreed on a price, and I stuck to my word. I bought 4 boxes of it from him, and I said, thanks, man. And just to let this guy into it, I told him, I'm only going to shoot this rifle once or twice a year, maybe 4 times, decide it in, and then take a couple of deer. That's it, man. It's going to sit there, and that rifle can sit there without ammunition because I have a shotgun, a handgun, and all this other stuff that I can hunt with. Gun-wise, I just thought it was a cool gun, and I got a smoking deal on it. And then I went down to the Wanamaker Gun Show a couple days later, and his $95 a box was outrageous because I bought a box of 6.5 Creedmoor for $22.95. The moral of this story is don't panic, don't freak out, and don't pay their prices. I looked at Jared's video from Guns and Gadgets. He's got an insider for Vista. Yeah, well, good for you. And he's telling me that there's truckloads of ammunition just sitting at docks, sitting in parking lots. They're kind of creating a shortage. And I say, well, that's what rich people do. They create this shortage. Have we not learned from the pharmaceutical company in every way that they have screwed the American public? Or the world in general? Come on, man. And, then he went on this, Vista sold all their stuff. Oh, my God, man, they're going to lay people off. I said, what happens, Jared? Have you ever worked for a company that's transitioned after they've been sold? I've been doing the gun counter at this place for the last handful of years, and it's changed hands 3 times. And I guarantee you there's some people that weren't retained, and there's new people in these spots, even at the higher levels. That's how this corporation stuff works. People are going to get laid off, people are going to get fired, and then they're going to start taking away positions that existed. That's how this works, Jared. So stop kind of freaking out. And I say to this, did you look at this guy's portfolio from this Czech company? I think he's worth like $2 billion or something like that. And he bought these companies for about $1.5 or $1.8 billion. He's going to have to make his money back some way, folks. And one thing it is that the rich folks do, and these billionaires, trillionaires do, is they stick it to the public, man. It does suck that Lake City shut down, contracts for these other folks that distribute ammunition out into the public. It does suck. But have you not noticed what's going on in the world, folks? I think it was something like we make up like 30% that make from Lake City, 30%, which is a big number. But I'm going to tell you right now, there's governments right now weaning and yearning for ammunition. And they have more money than you and I could ever imagine. Not only that, guess who's backing them up? Other countries are backing them up, and those people's coffers are filled to the brim and overflowing with cash. They do not care about canceling some contracts because they're going to make a ton of money. What do you think this guy's going to do with Vista? Vista wasn't even really high on ammo manufacturing anyway. They were outdoorsy, but they weren't that kind of outdoorsy. Go do your research. Don't listen to me. Go do your own research. But I'm going to tell you right now, man, do not panic buy. There's no point to panic buy. All you're going to do is you're going to screw yourself in the end, and then you're going to have these people that show up at these gun shows or wherever it be and try and overcharge you for a box of ammunition. You know, look, ammunition has stabilized from the COOF to the point that we are now, even with all the tragic events that we've seen lead up to the point we're in now. It still stabilizes at one point. It has to stabilize. I mean, it can't be going up and up and up and up and up, because then countries are going to look at this and be like, I'm not going to pay that price. You know, these countries are getting deals anyway because they're buying more bulk than your regular Joe that's even ordering stuff off the internet. I just saw Copper Customs. They had pallets of 9mm. Armory 219 in my area had a bunch of pallets of 9mm. I mean, I went to this store and looked at the shelves, man, and yeah, there's not a ton. There's not a ton there in 5.56 and 223, but there's 44, there's 9mm, there's 380, there's 357. I mean, there's oddball 30 super carry. I mean, there's tons of stuff on there. You know, it's people that come in here, they freak out, they don't have a level head, and they don't have a concept of what's going on. All they see is turmoil, and they freak out, they panic, and they buy. And it creates this shortage. What do you think that guy's going to do with all those trucks? He's going to wait. He's going to wait until you buy all that stuff off the shelf. When he buys it off the shelf, he's going to sell it to these people at a premium price. And what are these companies going to have to do, like your Rural Kings and your other farm stores and your Dunhams? They're going to jack that price up like they did during the COOF. You know, I don't think people remember Federal and Hornady making those cringy ass videos. Go back and live those days and go look at those videos. Those people were blaming the consumer. We're making our factories not, 24/7. These people are working their tails off just to get you ammunition, blah 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 blah. Well, who's creating those kinds of shortages? It's governments. It's governments around this world that are creating proxy wars. It's people that have never gotten along for centuries that are doing some really dastardly stuff, and and they're paying consequences for it now. But where do you think they're going to get ammunition from? I mean, it's a hot commodity right now for countries that are in wars. Look at Ukraine. Look at Russia. Look at these people. They're going around begging. If you don't think Russia's begging for ammunition, they are. They're especially begging from drones from Iran right now. That's the biggest hot topic for them. So, I mean, sometimes there is shortages, but who creates these shortages in the end? I mean, we can pay a huge price, and we can play a big role in it if we let it get that way. But I want to put a scenario out there, since Jared thinks there's trucks upon trucks upon trucks filled to the brim with this ammunition. What's going to happen when people don't order it? And people's shelves are still full with ammunition. And people are just going about their way, buying a box here, buying 2 boxes there. Buy a box, get 20% off your next box. And you just go through life, and you don't panic, you don't freak out. And that was one of the biggest things during the COOF. People were freaking out. Especially the people that didn't want guns, that didn't like ammunition, that wanted to tax it, background checks. You had to go to some class, or you had to get a permission slip from the government. Remember those days? I do. I say to my subscribers and the people that just zip through, don't panic. Keep a level head. Buy a box here and there. Look, you can buy 70 pallets of ammunition. But a push of a button and the opening of a couple of bay doors, you're not going to get to spend that ammunition anyway. In the thought process that you think you'll have somewhere down the road or in the future, it's just not going to happen. If you haven't learned from World War II, they are still suffering the effects till this day from Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So I mean, don't panic. look at this stuff. And if these people are doing scandalous things like this guy that was sitting at this gun show, hey man, let it sit there. Because I'll leave you with this. During the coup, when the coup was over, everybody got their Fauci ouchies and they did all the things that they wanted to do. One of the biggest things that popped up line was the reselling of ammunition from all these people that ran around to all these places like the Rural King, like the Dunhams, and bought all this ammunition, and they couldn't sell it because the market stabilized, the prices went down, and they were about to lose their butts. That's how things work at times. Am I going to tell you tomorrow is going to be better, or the next day, or the next day after that? No, because I do not have a crystal ball. I'm going to be hunting, and I'll probably catch it when I get done doing what I love to do. Don't panic. It's not worth it. It's not worth getting your heart rate up. I suggest you go do something you love. If something you love is shooting, go out there, shoot some targets, go out there to your local, buy a box of ammunition, run a box through it, run 2 boxes through it. Don't touch your bulk and go about your business. Because I'm going to tell you right now, there's going to be another war and there's going to be another conflict. And this will go on again at some time down the road. Hopefully it doesn't expand. Remember, don't. That's what Joe Biden said. Don't. But people are going to cross lines that, that Obama talked about crossing lines and other presidents with their witty stuff. Don't panic to my subscribers. I take some of these people's videos with a grain of salt, with a little bit of truth mixed in, and their coupon codes. I like to thank my old and my new subscribers. Love you guys. All the people that just zip through. I greatly appreciate it. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Do that for everybody you know. Like always, catch you on the next video.